I just think it just gets down to like, it's just not easy making a movie. It's like easy to say certain things, and then when you're actually doing it, it's like, oh, it's like, I don't know. It just doesn't turn out the way it should turn out, especially if that is your profession. Like you're a film critic, so you would expect you as a film critic to not do the same mistakes you critique other films on. But then when you're actually doing it, it just doesn't. For some reason, you just don't follow what you preach. If that makes sense, I think that's happened with most film critics out there who have tried movies. So I think maybe it was just one of them ones. But we have to take into consideration as well, it was his first film. That's why I kept on saying for a first attempt, it was a good attempt. That's why I'm showing kind of like Chris a bit more grace, because it's like, even I'm saying his first name like I know him, but I'm giving him a bit more grace. Can you agree that he's showing potential? As in, like, I'm sure he'll learn from this, and then you would think his second film will be good.
It's the story mostly. That's the problem. And I agree, it's very easy to just sit here and list all the ways that don't work after the fact, right? And in previous episodes, I've often said, hey, just give me $2 million and I'll make something better. And I accept that making a movie is difficult. You don't have perfect control over how it turns out. You have to make compromises all the time. You have to just roll with things that happen. And also it's just really, really difficult. And you can do everything right and it can still not work, right? But here's the thing. If you are presenting yourself as kind of like an authority of what a good story is, and then you make one and it's so broken, try to kind of distill out what makes a story tick and what makes it interesting, and then apply it to the story you want to tell. Like here you have somebody who is so consumed by saving her sister that she walks into this trap and ends up being a surrogate mother to a demon child. Like you could absolutely turn it into something. And I just have to wonder, like, if I was in that position, right? If I did this Kickstarter and I got all this support and people trusted that I would be able to come up with something better, I would just sit down and write and try to do this. Like I would try to find, okay, this is what the story is about, and this is the kind of character who supports that story. And let's put in two other characters who are maybe going through like a mirrored version of this, but maybe in the opposite direction or in a twisted way, or they start out in the same place, but they make a different choice. And so they end up somewhere else. And you know what I mean? Like you can engineer stuff like this, right? And it's that by itself doesn't guarantee that it will be a good story, but it's a start. And it's a good foundation. And that seems to be missing here. It seems to me like he had some disparate ideas that he just put in a movie. Why is there nothing more to this? Even just in a basic thematic level. I'm just convinced you could have taken these pieces or some of these pieces or the basic idea that went into this and made something so much better. And then you can still not shoot it very well because you're a first-time filmmaker. But you could say, okay, I can see the potential and I can see where they went wrong. And that's a shame. And I wish they had done it better so that the end result was better. But I totally see the attempt. And here I don't see the attempt.